Welcome to the Inquisition, episode 5 of the Chaos shows. Or maybe this is the 4th Chaos show, I can't remember. But yeah, we are going to do a Chaos show today, because why not? We haven't done one for a while, so we might as well do a Chaos show where we bring on people. You can give us your hot takes on the chat, or you can come in, tell us your hot takes, and we can discuss your hot take. What you would like to see in the 11th edition, how do you feel about Citadel colours being no longer Citadel colours but Warhammer colours? I actually don't have any Warhammer colours yet, I'm up in a shop. And as well as what you'd like to see going forward with 40k, and also, why does AOS have better looking models than the poor old 40k? What he's working on, people? I am back with Avengers, doing some Grey Knights. So I've done this guy today, put in the block colours for his armour, and we have a wee special appearance by none other than Castellan Crow himself. So I'll be hopefully getting him done in the next few days, and as well as a few purifiers, these dudes, and I got a new staff for this dude because his staff snapped into. So, but yeah, that is what I'm doing. What are you crazy mofos up to? And here's a wee nerdling that we just found kicking about. Now it is 7:30, which means Casey will be here in about 4 hours time. Hey Commissar Molotov, hope you're doing well. But yeah, so 11th edition is Armageddon. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm hoping, no doubt, it will be Space Marines of some variety. Could we see Raven Guard? Could we see the old Can come back, doing his Can and his wee cha-cha slide back into the 40k verse, and hopefully we get some brand new, spanking, amazing looking orkies. Maybe we might even get a purple orc, because they're invisible and nobody can see them. So fun. That's so exciting. Through the phone lines up yet, and we've already got a guest coming on the line. Hello caller, how are you? And typical, I hope you updated your Instagram. Yeah, there he is there. The main man himself, giving the bird, and he's wearing. Did you just go and murder Mrs. Peacock in the library, Colonel Mustard?
No, it was Reverend Plum.
Ah, the old dirty beast.
Actually, no, he's a reverend, though, isn't he? No, I don't know. CFE's just as bad as Catholics, isn't it?
But it's all still the same. Like, if you look at it, right, we don't really get into politics or religion, but if you look at it, the Catholics took away children in Dublin from single mothers, and the Church of England have done it as well. So what's good for the Jews is good for the gander, and I'm pretty sure they were bumming children in the Protestant side as well.
Same, but different, but still the same.
But reading off the same book, and all because some king wanted to get a divorce, and the good old jolly old Pope said no.
Yeah, I was just asking the Pope for anything. You know?
I must say, we've been doing this for 2.5 years now, and this is the first, 3.5? Time flies when you're having fun. And this is the first time we've talked about old dirty beasts.
No, we've definitely cussed the religion before.
Ah, I did.
Yeah, and we've got to have. It's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you doing, mate?
I'm grand. I'm absolutely grand. Yourself?
It's good to see that you and Commissar Molotov are still in the same chat, but obviously you're on display here. He's not. Could Commissar Molotov perhaps join us to make sure that you aren't the same people?
He's left.
Is that because you joined?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him waiting, but...
Hey, Child of the Emperor. So I might as well just fire right in there, Casey. What are you expecting in 11th edition?
Shit. More shit. Yes.
But do you not think, though, I'm going to throw it open here, and if anybody wants to join in the chat, send us a request and you can jump in with us, and we'll give you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, probably longer because we forget.
That's what we do.
But you're not looking forward to, like, I seen an article today where the terrain's all been changed as well, so all that WTC terrain that I just bought like a month ago is going to be fucking useless.
Well, this is the thing. I'm seeing at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of official Warhammer terrain all of a sudden popping up online for sale that previously would have been stashed. Um, Part of me is interested in it because I tell you what, the game I played last week, the board was dense with terrain on the WTC stuff, and like trying to get your movements right was such a difficult thing. Um, I would like to see. I mean, from reading the description of it and the sizes and stuff, it seems like they've looked at what the WTC are doing and thought, we'll have a bit of that, but make it our way of doing it, which is fine. It's their product. Um, it's whether or not other people decide to go with it, I think is the big thing. Because the league group I'm in were all saying that they imagine the WTC will just do what they want to do anyway. I do like the idea of your objectives are terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I think that means that the game feels a bit more thematic. Because I mean, you've done exercises, you know, the objectives isn't just a point in the middle of a bloody field. It is, there's a building there, we need to get the building. So that makes a bit more sense in the long run.
But the thing that makes sense for me is the thing that makes sense for me as well. And if I'm maybe jumping ahead here and thinking how the games are going to be run, you set up the terrain, and then that dice roll on who's the attacker and who's the defender is going to be key. Because
it's sort of key at the moment, though, isn't it? Really, I mean, I know obviously a lot of the tables
only if you're doing deployment, because like all the terrain is kind of symmetrical. Whereas if the terrain is heavily pushed on one side of the board and stuff, it's going to make you have a different aspect of how you're going to approach a game, if that makes sense. Until we all get used to playing on both sides of. So it's really change your deployment, how you deploy people, I feel, as well as like who goes first and who goes second.
I think that's a big deal of the game anyway, and a lot of games are one on who attacks, who defends, who's first, who's second. I think that going first thing is always going to be a big deal, no matter who wins the role, whether you are attacking or defending, because if you've got the right army for a right bit of terrain, you're going to knock someone aside. I think it'll be interesting to watch. I don't quite get this whole new, your army is in these styles of play, your opponent is in that style of play, so your mission will be... Again, I think it seems like a good idea, but until it in practice comes in, we'll have to see. The multiple different attachments, I'm not a fan of it, but that's how a lot of people played in ninth. Because I remember when the Dark Eldar came out in ninth, there were people running 2,000 points, but split up into 4 different 500-point detachments or something, because that was the most efficient way of running the army, which seems crazy, but if it is what it is, it's what it is. I suppose then it makes having multiple leaders a bit more of a point, because you know what it's like. You can bulk your army out with 10 characters, but at what point have you just got characters walking around on the board on their own?
Yeah, especially if you get, especially like if you're a Plague Marines and you get 2 characters and like the entire brick of 9 Marines or 10 Marines gets wiped out, and then you've just got 2 guys. So it's going to make, I think as well, it's going to make how people play. It's going to stop, and I've seen it a lot in different places, a lot of meta chasing. But again, that's only going to be for so long until the meta chasers dial in their specific detachment.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. I think it's one of those. The more details they release, we've got 3 months apparently to the official launch. They reckon mid-June. So yeah.
Do you see the detachments getting decreased or increased? Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of testing.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and I was listening to somebody else say this yesterday in a different stream. They're saying that they're going to be adding 17 new ones. So does that mean that in the rule book will be a case of, here's 70 generic that work for every army, and then you get your army specific ones that are in the codex or on the app, because obviously where they've released the ones over Christmas and all the special event ones they do. Or will it just be that they've released 70 new detachments outside of the codex and they make them a thing? I don't know.
I mean, well, is it going to help armies that are points heavy, but in the aspect of being models on the board? Is it going to help them? Is it going to help horde armies like the likes of Orcs and Krieg and Dark Eldar? Is there going to be a detachment going to maybe help those more elite units like the Grey Knights? Because you can have, I mean, it's going to it's definitely the way I'm looking at it. I mean, this is my first edition change, so this is like exciting, but also a bit, because I've actually just literally learned 10th now in the last couple of months, which is typical. But it's going to be interesting. Like, if people have got more than like 2 or 3 armies, is it catering to those people so they're not just going to use the same detachment of Space Marines all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we use Space Marines as the example, since this edition has dropped, without looking at like some of the more flavorful, shall we say, Space Marine armies like your Blood Angels, Dark Angels, whatever, everyone uses the Gladius attachment because you get the best buffs out of it, you get your rerolls, and it's just a nice, handy thing to do. I think it might be a case, you might see that if you've got an army, for example, in the majority of it's Gladius, but you've got 3 tanks, those 3 tanks run under whatever the Space Marine armoured rule set is. Because I know there is one. You have to forgive me, I don't know the name. Will it just mix up a bit of stuff there? Yeah, it probably will. But and I think actually Guard is one of the best ones that might benefit from it, because you can then have like your Guard tanks under a separate attachment to your infantry, or if you've got quite a lot of infantry, you can have all the heavy weapons under one and all your troopers running up the board in another. So there's probably going to be stuff like that.
And you think that's why they're bringing Orcs in for 11, so it does show that the Horde armies can be Horde armies?
I think Orcs is going to be the big testing zone for it, because having played Orcs back in 5th, they were a lot of fun. Obviously, detachments back then weren't a deal. But they're going to make a big deal out of the, what's his name, Wazdaka Gutsmech, or whatever it's called. He's a speed freak war boss. So you could have one detachment of just nothing but boys storming across the board in whatever the Goth detachment is, because that's the main one that Gaskell uses. And then all your bikes, all your vehicles in the speed freak detachment. Stuff like that, I think, will have a big say on it. And I think Orcs are going to be one of the best ones to test that out with, because you've got so many different little nuances in there to all the different plans and stuff that it could work. I think it's going to be interesting to see for some armies more than others, because I think everyone will look at how Space Marines work and be like, yeah, we know about that. You've been looking around for years. There's something new that's getting a bit more of a kick up the arse, because let's face it, Orcs probably haven't in all the last couple of years. I know they've got whatever characters they've been given re-upped models, but stuff like an actual war boss or like coming back into it and being a thing, it's a big deal. A lot of people like speed freaks. That was my army when I played Orcs, just because I used to have bikes that stormed up the board, helicopters that stormed up the board, and then all my boys sitting in the back of a truck doing drive-by shooting on people. How I played them, because you didn't have to worry about objectives. You could just drive around the map having fun. And you could get into it. I had a weirdly Top Gear themed Orc army. So it worked. I had my fun. That's what was matters. And the best thing that ever happened to me in the game of 40k happened when I played Orcs. One guy with a power fist walked straight up to a Lehman Russ, punched it in the face, and it blew up. Got all my 6s for it. It blew up, flipped on its side, rolled into a squad of infantry of my opponents, wiped them out, and he was livid. But it's just like, It's all key, mate. That's what happens.
The one thing that I'm looking forward to is none of this fight first pish.
Well, I kind of get it because it does annoy me that it if the attacker is attacking, they should attack first. That makes
Yeah,
the most sense. Shouldn't be I'm attacking the unit. Oh well, my unit's got fights first, so they're ready for you as soon as they storm in. No, I don't know.
because the way I look at it, it's happened to me a couple of times. I don't know if it's happened to you yet, but if you make a charge on somebody, they overwatch you, right? Which is fine, right? And then they can fight first. So what was the point in you doing an attack? Because you might lose like a unit or two in the Overwatch, which is acceptable, right? We all have to deal with that. But then getting punished again, it feels as though you're getting punished
Yeah,
by going like by charging in and go, oh, by the way, I'm ready to top trump you. My guys can fight first. Like that doesn't seem fair.
I think the ADHD minis has just said it there best. Is the initiative system that every unit had an initiative score. So when it came to fighting first, it was just simple. Who's got the higher initiative? You go first. That was it. That was spot on perfect. That is one thing I don't think they needed to change for this edition, just for simplifying the combat, because the combat has been simplified down a lot. Putting the initiative system back in there would have made that a lot better. But it is what it is at the moment, and we're still eating that shit sandwich. I will say I've not had the misfortune of charging a strikes first unit yet. But I do have I put a Judicar on a squad of Blade Guard, which has fight first, so then that means I'm getting ridiculous combat sometimes. I near enough wiped out a squad of Rubrics with it the other night. I think I left the Sorcerer leading them up on alone. Just from one charge combat, they just went in, diced them all up. And then annoyingly, that HQ survived the rest of the game, and I got absolutely swamped. But
Yeah.
I think, that will be a lot of difference. Although I think the other thing, I have seen it rumored that line of sight will be base to base.
Yeah, because that's going to stop cunts hiding behind terrain with their tanks.
Yeah,
That is like my biggest. Apart from the fight first, I think that's my biggest pet peeve, because you don't get punished if you've got a tank track shown. Yeah, if you're shooting a tank that's got a tank track shown, then he's got the benefit of cover. Like it seems redundant.
I think the base to base side of it on tanks would be a big deal, because for years when the tank vehicles didn't have bases, you just drew line of sight from the weapon, which
Right.
made sense. If you've got a tank on the board, can this side gun see you? Yes, no, because you're in front of it. Makes sense. So, because the bases on tanks are so small and the tanks themselves are so bloody big, I don't know how that will work. We'll just have to see what pans out. They might do for large models that the weapon has to see. Like the
Yeah, I
old,
mean, I would totally go with that. Like, if the gun that you're firing can see, then aye, that's how it should be. Not like,
yeah.
but like my main gun can see, but my heavy bolters can't see. Well, they can't shoot. Then the only one that can shoot is the big gun.
Yeah, and with the shooting rules the way they are, that you can shoot everything that you've got on a vehicle at different targets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. This one can see that way, that one can see that way, so divide up your shooting. But yeah, I think there should be some good changes. Let's face it, we know there's going to be some shit ones. There'll be some
Oh, yeah.
release and it'll be dog shit. And they'll have play tested it, and it'll be great during play testing. But then, we just got to see how we go.
Yeah, that's one of those things as well. It's like you obviously played a shit ton of computer games in your life. Like when you're doing beta testing with if Xbox are doing a beta test, I think one of the last beta tests I can remember playing was Battlefield 5, Battlefront 4.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Battlefield games have always done it if you pre-order it. Yeah,
yeah, because the only map you had was that one in the skyscraper,
Yes. Oh, that
That
was
was a
Battlefield 3.
was
No,
that Battlefield 4?
4. Because
That was
you shot the pillar at the bottom of the building, it fell over.
aye, because that was brilliant. That was my first Battlefield gun,
What?
and that was brilliant because it gave honest feedback. Because people could say, "Oh, this doesn't work," or "That doesn't work."
Yeah.
Whereas you feel like with tabletop games, I don't know how Games Workshop do it, but it feels like they're going to get a lot of yes men saying, "Oh yeah, that's great, that's great." But then when it comes to like the proper players, the likes of Vanguard Tactics,
Well,
and
I understand that individuals within that program are game testers.
yeah,
And obviously, we have our own opinions about them teaching the American army how to bomb children. But like, there we go, we're off the rails already. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, I don't think it's even just for these sorts of games. I think in any sort of industry like that, when you've got someone who's a volunteer tester, they're going to say yes to everything because they want to stay getting their free shit, don't they?
yeah,
You know, and that's why we see so many free copies of things being given away. And I'm not just slating GW for this because loads of companies do it. They generate the hype, they get their influencers and blah blah blah. But it does annoy me when you don't get people giving the honest feedback because we do know individuals who are on the influencer feedback program or whatever they call it. We have had people come on the show and say they do give honest feedback, and I think maybe for every 2 or 3 that do, you probably have 8 that don't.
yeah, and they're going to be
2 out
they're
of
going to
10.
be drowned.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, like I said, I'd just like to see where we go.
Do you think that we'll get terrain in the starter boxes and the bigger boxes?
I think like they did with this edition, the starter box and whatever the intermediate box is. The starter box you won't. The intermediate box you'll get some sort of cardboard thing because that's what they do. And then if you're paying top dollar, you'll get the terrain in there. It does make me sad and make me pine for the days when you buy the official box set of release and there'd be like 1 or 2 bits in there. They were always nice and fun. Third edition, you got a couple of ruins and a couple of tropical trees, which were ridiculous. You didn't have to paint them because the branch was brown plastic, the leaves were green plastic. It looked like it came out of a fish tank. But you know what? It was nice because then at least your 2 squads or whatever you got in the box have something.
But they've been doing that with the kill team set, so like that, like
Yeah,
the Necron kill team set actually had a decent terrain.
it
It
did.
did take me, my mate, when we first played it, at least 10 minutes to find one of the hidden doors.
Yeah. I think kill team is easier for them to do it with because if you're trying to charge someone over £100 for a box that's got a book and 2 squads in it, you'll be told to fuck off. But you charge them over £100, you put a couple of bits of terrains in there. There you go. City Fight Codex was always a good one. Yes. So long ago, Dunk, in the world that we live in now, where everything is the L-shaped ruins, there was a codex for specifically fighting in a ruined city. And it came with its own special rules. Like I think they teased it today about if your unit's high up, looking down, you get +1 to hit. So
Yeah.
the old City Fight Codex was full of stuff like that. You could booby trap buildings. It set different rules on the terrain and how it works. So maybe even if they're looking at that and thinking this system worked well for how it gets played, that's what they'll do. Had the City Fight Codex, and I don't know where it's gone. I think it ended up in oblivion. But that and the old Armageddon book were quality for stuff. And yeah, I think it's annoying that they've done what they always do. Yeah, and the edition is here. Let's rush out loads of different rules for everything so we can prime the story of the next edition. But we're going to fleece you at the end of this one to get you ready to be fleeced at the start of the next one. So there you go. The
What
artwork
do you
is also amazing. Yeah.
what do you think you'll see as a Marine player? What do you think you'll get in the box? What is
So
in the
I think
box?
it's been pretty much confirmed that we're getting the Vanguard Assault Marines, which is like the elite assault boys. We're going to get a jump pack chaplain, which is cool because I've always loved the jump pack chaplain. I thought they were great back in the day. A new land speeder, the new tactical squad, whatever that's going to be, and then I said the land speeder. Apparently, there's going to be 3 new heavy gravis armor marines, all with heavy bolts.
So, do you
Makes no
think?
sense.
Do you think that we'll see a Primarch coming back then, Korax or
Yeah,
Jackie
I think
Khan?
probably end up getting the Khan. Trying to think of when Lionel Johnson came back in this edition versus when the edition came out. It was about a year in, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped it within 6 months.
Yeah, it would be good for Christmas. It would be a good Christmas drop.
Yes, it would be. And also, I think not a lot of people are really excited about this edition's Marines. I think that's going to be a big thing because it's just a constant refresh. Here's new minis for stuff. Here's new minis. Like, personally, for this edition, I would have. Don't know. Considering it's meant to be Armageddon, and meant to be getting Blood Angels, I would have liked to seen a lot more jump pack troops. But there we go. And as ADHD minis, it says in there, yeah, Chaos, you're probably going to end up with Rabo at some point.
Well, with the artwork that was out last week, it's definitely hinting towards levels where we could.
Yeah, it makes sense to drop him because you've got the 4 aligned to the Codex gods, the Chaos gods, haven't you? You've got the 4 specific. So now you're going to have to look at trying to bring in the others. So Puerto Rabo makes sense to come in first. Personally, I'd have said Lorgar.
Yeah, like I definitely think we need some word bearers because I think that would be an army that I would actually collect.
I'd collect word bearers. I know a lot of people hate them, but like you look at the Red Corsair models, they make great word bearers. A lot of the specific Chaos minis that we got now, just paint them red off you go. But Lorgar would have been my shout, but that's just me. Trying to think out of all the Chaos ones, who is officially alive? Lorgar, Puerto Rabo.
Well, you've got Alpha Legion, you've got Alpharius or Omega, and whichever one of the 2 is still alive.
Are they dead? Are they not? Whoa! Yeah. Fuck's sake. Chased by Korax. I think it's a weird one because Horus is dead. Kaz is dead.
Also, we're led to believe, like, it's Games Workshop, they could retcon and bring Cubs back, but I don't see it.
Yeah, they'll do some old shit. The madness they'll do is, what was the Primarch that only his hand has been found? They'll bring that cunt back to life.
Dawn?
Yeah, they'll just, Dawn's back. Yeah, he hasn't got a hand, no. Sorry about that, he just lost it.
He doesn't know where to put it. He just misplaced it.
It's the dead parrot sketching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, no, you're asking me about what I think.
Yeah.
What, as a player of a faction that is not so far teased as one way or the other in this box set, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, like, I think because of the jump packs and the speed, I'm thinking Raven Guard for the Marines. I don't really think we can do much more for Death Guard. I don't think there's any much more we can do with Death Guard. I don't think we could bring any new characters in. Like, we had Lord Felthier, and now he's just been relegated to a Lord of Contagion. Like, I don't think there's any new Marines. Like, the Lord of Proxies, it's a great model, but he's pretty much useless, really, in gaming, because like, he's good that you can't target it, nobody can target you within 18 inches, with 18 inches, and it's good that he can give you that deep strike 6-inch if a unit's afflicted, but you can use a strat for that. But I think Raven Guard would be a good shout. I'd like to see some of the boys coming in, and I'm actually looking forward to Orcs as well. Like, I did, like, him and Haw about Orcs last year, and I did do an Orc model. which I actually enjoyed painting. It was a lot of fun to paint. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. I think with Marines, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Like they, they've released that many Marines in the last 6 months. They're
Yeah,
not really leaving anything for the new edition coming in, which I think is maybe a bit of a faux pas on Games Workshop's side. By
yeah, yeah,
releasing so much stuff, it's kind of like, well, why? But I'm
yeah.
looking forward to see like the orcs. I think it might spike my interest again in orcs and see where we could go with orcs. As ADHMA says, Raptors. I don't think they're a Death Guard. They're too quick. So like Death Guard are just shambles and shambling on.
No, not the
Maybe.
Chaos Raptors. He means Raptors, the Space Marine faction, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is
Sorry.
the Raven Guard spin-off. It's basically
Uh,
that less fast, more stealth Raven Guard.
yeah, and that's going to be interesting with the detachments and how you play it as a person. Like
Mm.
I'm a sort of player that kind of just forgets about objectives and goes and tries killing everybody. Like
Yeah,
that in my last tournament, I think I ended up in my opponent's deployment zone every time, and I actually lost my deployment zone in every game. And I think it actually cost me the second game because like I just never bothered looking after my back door.
you've got lots of backdoor, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to move us on
Yep.
because obviously we're in what I would say is the middle of convention period.
Yes.
Um, Adepticon's come and gone. You've got your silly UK ones coming up that we've got. We've had the ChillCon thing. You've got Salute this weekend, which I'm not going to.
No.
Yeah, it just clashes with a lot of stuff for me, and I haven't got the money to do everything I want to do this month. So unfortunately, I've had to knock that on the head. Sorry, Rob, if you watch this back. He's probably sitting in his daughter's dance class right now. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to knock it on the head. But you've then got UK GE next month, and then potentially rumours of a Warhammer Fest. But I might do a day of UK GE. I don't know. It's the bigger one. It's the more industry centric one, isn't it? Because all
Is that the one in Birmingham?
yeah, it's the 3 day one. So I might take a sneaky day off and go up to it or over to it wherever it works out that I am in the country. But I will say, and you've not done any of them properly, have you?
No.
I appreciate the people that go to them to try and run a business or to run a stand or a game or something. We've had Docky for on a couple of weeks back who ran War Machine.
Yep.
Yeah. He ran some demo games at that ChillCon. Shout out to Encounter Terrain, who is absolute again this year. Need to get him on at some point. And it's always been fun going and annoying him when I'm pissed. But I don't think a lot of the people who go to these events go to see a lot of the stuff that's there. And this is a weird thing. I think you get people turning up just because their favorite creators are there. And then you get people turning up because they want to go to like a Wayland game stand, which you can just order from them online. I think the convention space within tabletop gaming, you get all your historics, which are cool. Some of them historic boards are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You get a lot of your gaming groups turning up. Obviously, Salute's run by South London Warlords, who have been going for donkeys and donkeys. Great group. But if I didn't go to Salute pissed, right, I would be walking around thinking, why have I spent my money to come to this?
Yeah.
I tell you what, you've done one of the Star Wars things, haven't you?
I've not done any Star Wars thing.
Oh, I thought you did one of the. Okay, I'll say that back then. But yeah, it's just a weird. I think it's a weird space. I appreciate why people might want to go, but at the same time, it just they feel a little bit cynical.
Do you think though that like see the likes of Salute and possibly Chilcon and uh, the one that Griffin does? Do you
Oh,
think
yeah.
do you think that they're overshadowed by the bigger companies like Wayland and people
Um,
who go to them, and then the smaller like independent retailers, the likes of like Tempest Terrain, and even to a certain extent Ian McManny's, it's a waste of their time because
yeah.
people aren't spending the money at them, but they're spending it, as you say, on something that they could buy online.
I think if I tell you what, the best example I use for this is Mantic Games, right? They always have a standard salute, and they're always running demo games of whatever they've got on. Like they were running the Halo demo last year, as well as King's War and a few other games. I think it's a great chance for because Games Workshop don't have a presence at some of these things, and they do at others. The ones they're not at, it's a great chance for some of the smaller companies to get in there, and it's a great chance then for some of the independents to get in as well. But like you've sort of nailed on the head, these poor guys that come from donkeys away have to spend money on fuel, traveling all their stuff down. If I use again, Salute is the example, you have to set up on the Friday because when the
Mm-hmm.
doors open on the Saturday, you're live from there. If you're still setting up Saturday morning, you're going to lose out.
Yeah,
So you've got to travel down, potentially pay to stay in a hotel or travel back to wherever you live to get there. Then the next day, you're paying for parking because if you're taking your stuff there, you've got to pay to park. And then car parks in the Excel aren't cheap. You might get a discount as being a displayer, but I don't know how much that'll be. What was Rich, who we had on, 3D printer guy, I can't remember
yeah.
he was there last year, and I used him as an example in the chat that me and you were in the other day. He was there all day, and I think up to maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before it shut, he'd sold hardly anything, and he was making a loss for being there.
Yeah.
He then had, luckily, some guy come along, buy one of everything off of him, dropped a couple £100, made the day worthwhile. But even then, when you think about what he's had to spend as outlay, and plus they've obviously got to pay to get in there and sell stuff, because Salute got to take their cut to the hire of the venue,
Yeah.
which is fair. I think it's tough. It's tough. I think is the best way to say it. When you've got someone, I think like if we use an example of Salute and Wayland Games got this huge chunk in the middle of the place. If Salute were to turn around to them and say, "You're taking up the bulk of our space. We're going to charge you more than some of the independents and the gaming groups that are demoing," cool. But I don't know if they do that. And this is the annoying thing. We were going to have them on at some point, and then it just fizzled out, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, was it Ian McMahon? Or was it? I can't remember who it was that said it was either Ian McManus or Mediocre Hobbies. But they're paying for flights over and
Yeah.
staff.
It was even McMillies,
So,
yeah.
and if they're not making money, then it's a loss. But it's maybe good in the networking side of it, but
Yeah.
financially, it's just a massive waste of time and money for them.
I think it's a shame for them.
So what would you do different if you had a magic wand? What would you do different then? Would you just make it smaller retailers and smaller game designers at the chance that your convention could fall apart?
Yeah, and this is the difficult thing. Depends on the scale of what you're doing, because obviously the place that Salute get is essentially an older warehouse, and they have two of them. One for where they convene, and I don't know if they have to pay for the one next to it, which people queue up to get into the second one in. I would say that for me, I think again we live in a cynical world with this stuff because people will want to go and see and buy Games Workshop stuff. Let's face it, they're the big boy. If they're not going to be there ripping, another big retailer will be. And I think it's fair that then you have to acknowledge that you need one or two big sponsors in any event who are going to have a physical presence on the day to draw people in. Then if you get some of the other independents or the smaller games companies, like, again, Mantic is the example, great, get them in. The Moonstone guys were there last year as well. I can't remember their company name. I know Josh will probably kick me in the shins for forgetting. But I think it's the way you do it and the way you've got to try and present it is Wayland dominate the centre of Salute. For me, I'd struggle against the back wall. And if someone wanted to go buy something from them, I would make them walk past every small company and independent company to get there first.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
I'd also probably ensure that people are seeing some of the demo tables and display tables and stuff away. Maybe a one-way system. Stick a one-way system in.
Because it's not like Wayland Games are making games. They're just a retailer. Whereas if you had the likes of Mantic Games or Warlock Gaming or Davy Jones's Locker Games that are actual making their own physical games, it's going to give them a wee bit more exposure.
Yeah. Why? I think Rob said it best, like the last time you were there. Why would you go to a company that's selling the same stuff as them over there who make the stuff? So if you've got a small company in the way of the big retailer, but the big retailer also smells the small company stuff, why would you not go and support the small company directly? I mean, obviously there might be a bit of a discount if the big retailer buy in bulk, but I would rather support the smaller business than the one shoe fits all, because Wayland make obviously all their money off of the Games Workshop stuff. Any other thing they sell is pocket money. You know, I don't know. It's a madness to me, and I think I would like to see less of a focus on the individual, more of a focus on why you go. And ADHD he's agreeing. Shove the big boys in the back corners. Let some of the other companies in the middle, give them the better space. I don't know. This is why we don't organise events.
Yeah. I mean, it must be tough for the people organising to make sure that if the bigger companies are wanting to be there, that you maybe give them that prime spot, but at the detriment of the smaller person who's coming from fucking Ireland or the north, the arse end of Scotland. Because not everybody's who's got a stall there is London based. You know, get people from far and wide, so it would seem a bit shitty if you're stuck in a corner. Yet Wayland Games, who probably sell your stuff cheaper, get pride in front and centre.
Yeah. It's one of them, I suppose, isn't it? You've got to acknowledge your big boy that's helping back the whole day for you, but then at the same time, where do you show loyalty to the smaller boys? So, I don't know. Right.
I'm going to move on here, right?
Yeah, I was about to say. Is anyone joining us?
Nobody's asked to come in yet. So one of the things that's happened recently is Warhammer's changed from Citadel colour to Warhammer.
Holy shit! Hang on, wait there 1 second. I put this up earlier.
Now, if anybody does want to join in, send us a request, and you can come in for a couple of minutes, maybe 10, maybe 15. You can give us your hot takes, what you would like to see going forward, or is there anything that you're doing currently just now? I keep threatening to open up my Conflict 47 box set, but I've still open it. Like I'm deciding to go through my plastic pile of Grey Knights and get the ones that are painted finished and get the ones that are still to painted. So I've kind of got a semi. Oh, what a goal! What a fucking goal that was!
It's on the brushes as well.
Oh, no way. So what if you're Age of Sigmar? Does that not count?
Nah, it's all the same shit, but I don't like it.
Because why don't you like it, Casey?
It's not from the rebrand. At the end of the day, if they want to call it whatever they want to call it, fine. I mean, for years it's always been Citadel paints because they were Citadel models. That was the thing. What I don't like, and this is just triggering more than anything, is the font. Look at the font. Look at the font of Warhammer opposed to colour. Because they've kept colour the same from when it was Citadel colour.
Wait a minute. So we've got our first caller coming on the line. We've got Green Man, who does have his own shop. So how is this going to affect his shop with Citadel cover paints and his wee plund?
That's a good shout.
Right, it's proper interesting for me, this, because, like, I've been a bit of a, Citadel has always been clear front and centre on the pot. It says Citadel Miniatures. But at the same time, with, like, the Brian Ansell estate now being in administration and stuff like that and being separated, and there's a financial element to it. So are GW going to pay to put the Citadel Brian Ansell name on things anymore? You know what I mean? Because ultimately his estate is owed money for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's his brand, it's his company, it's his estate. Yeah, it worked as and was swallowed in, you know what I mean, to GW, but it's still Citadel was Brian Ansell's. So at some point they've got to ditch it because they're paying for it. And why are you paying for a name on a pot when you've got Warhammer and it's clear to everyone? You know what I mean? So like, from a store point of view, you've got a 13, 14-year-old kid, right, walks into your store, don't know dick, ain't got a clue. He's seen some big guy with a big gun and he goes, that's cool as fuck. You know what I mean? Right? So he comes in and then he's looking at Monument Hobbies paints. He's looking at Pro Acryl. He's looking at AK Interactive paints. He's looking at Army Painter. And he's like, can I use these to paint my Warhammer? Not can I use these to paint my Citadel miniatures? Can I use these to paint my Warhammer? So he sat there like, that says Warhammer paint to a 13-year-old kid or to a grandma at Christmas. That's crystal the moment you see it, you know what I mean? That's the Warhammer paint. That's what you buy to put on the models that you've just bought your kid.
Yeah.
I suppose it is a sneaky way.
They used that in the advertising for it, didn't they? When they announced it, it was just, can I use this on my minis? And it was like, yeah, it's the same shit.
You'll be honest, right? And from a retail point of view, other people will probably confirm it, but the amount of times you get asked, can you use it on plastic minis? It's like, it's what we do, sweetheart. It's exactly why the paint's there. But, you know what I mean? Like, in general, people are like, they need that instant recognition because it's not about the deep trumpet. It's not about us lot who were sat there going, yes, well, in 1989, the two companies shook hands and hugged. It's not about that. It's about getting people into the top of that hobby trumpet, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's about hitting that wide element and then feeding down to us old crones who have been playing it for God knows how long. You know what I mean?
That's a fair point, actually. I think you are nail on the head. The Brian Ansell thing I completely forgot about. So that, from a business perspective.
Yeah, there's a financial element to that at some point.
So for people like me who do not have a clue what used to Muppets are talking about, who is Brian Ansell? Or Ansell or Anthony's Pants? What his name is?
Brian Ansell was pretty much the reason that Games Workshop looks the way Games Workshop does in terms of its kind of like aesthetic. So while like Livingston and Jackson were running the kind of operating a store kind of thing, Brian Ansell and his loony mates were all carving, you know, like lead minis, basically doing lead minis. So they went into a deal to do the Dungeons and Dragons stuff in like the mid 80s because Games Workshop was the European distributor of D&D.
Yeah.
And Brian Ansell started, basically his company was the one making the miniatures for Games Workshop and continued to do so until, like I say, the whole estate and the crossover thing.
Yeah.
So like he then got hired on to basically operate the Warhammer. So they lost their license. It's a long way around. It's in the Dyson Men. It's a sick book. It's well worth reading. But basically they like lost the D&D license. So they went, well, fuck you. We're going to make our own fantasy game with blackjack and hookers. Only it had like dwarves and chaos-titted women. You know what I mean? So Brian Ansell had been reading a load of these. I can't remember what the fucking name of the book is for the life of me. Can't remember what it is, but it's a really good book series about. It basically outlines the original Chaos Gods, and it was them before they were Chaos Gods.
The Bible?
No. I can't remember what the book's called. It's a really big book series. It's massive.
The Old and New Testament?
Yeah, that's the one. What was it called? Bear with me.
Oh, he's on his computer. He's fine. Google.
So Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson, whilst they were doing their Dungeons and Dragons things, they were also writing the fighting fantasy novels at the same time as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Love those books. Fucking
when you think about how many fingers and pliers they all had at the same time back in the day, it's insane.
The thing is, though, right, you can kind of see it because, say, for example, you got a bunch of mates who like playing historics, and they don't quite like the rules for it. They make a little edit here and there, and over 20 years, they're making loads of different things. Like, I'm kit bashing Mordheim minis at the minute. You know what I mean? Just going mental.
One for your bingo card, an unexpected Mordheim. An unexpected Mordheim from a guest that wasn't Casey.
But the point is, like, after 26 years now, the game represents itself pretty well, and there's people who are still clamoring and eating for it, even today. So you end up writing your own systems, running your own systems. You start going, well, what don't I like about D&D, and how am I going to edit it? Because it was a big thing back in the day. So it's just nerds, like, fully invested in nerd shit 9 to 5. And what happens, it was like, you know what I mean? When you're doing it all day, every day, you can't help but be creative.
And don't forget as well, White Dwarf back in the day was just a magazine that everything hobby related and nerdy. So when you control a magazine, you can turn around and say, hey, look, we're now making our games. Slowly that magazine stops promoting everything and solely promotes your stuff. And that, as a marketing thing, spot on.
So as a retailer, did Games Workshop send you out like new like cardboard stuff and stuff for the paint stands?
Well, so they slowly roll them out over time, but I think for the most part, I think it just doesn't have it's mostly the paint, play, collect thing on those brandings. As far as Brain Reserves, there's very little. It says like Citadel and Games Workshop on it. Or Warhammer in general, there's very little on it, so I don't think that eventually they will roll out full branding like for the stands and stuff like that. I imagine that they're coming out, but retailers, I've not heard about it yet. My account manager's not set out.
Okay.
So
I can't imagine it would just be a case of you've already bought this from us, so here's some new stuff for it, as opposed to you have to buy an entire new thing unless they redesign it all and remarket it or whatever.
Yeah, that's basically it. So it'll just be what it is until it rolls over, I guess. Because
ADHD when he says 5 men and then put dice randomly.
Dyson men, I think he was asking about that.
Well, the specific book for Thingy is Dice Men for Ian Livingstone and what's it called, but it's kind of mentioned in of Dyson Men, which is the D&D one that goes into Gygax.
And see at the end of Dyson Men, does somebody strangle a nerdling and then somebody shoots the other person in the back of the head?
I'm tired, Miles.
There's Johnson running around with a glove full of Vaseline.
I apologise. I can't find what the original novels were from, but there's like a fantasy novels that Ansel was really into, and that's pretty much why Warhammer looks the way it looks nowadays.
I know they ripped a lot from, like, obviously the main things. They ripped a lot from Conan. They ripped a lot from, like, the Dune series, other sci-fi stuff. Because it's always the one thing that stands out to me in Conan when you're watching it. When he meets Subutai, the other thief, and he's like, well, who's your god? And he says, I pray to the 4 winds. And that's something that I think Chaos Undivided has always had, like, a sly reference. Oh, the 4 winds of chaos and shit like that. But I know that's something that they nicked from. But I don't think it was Conan as a whole that they...
Here's a question for both of you, right? See, now, since we're hurtling towards the 11th edition, do you think we'll get more stuff about the orc gods mocking
It's
Monday?
You know what? There's a good chance that it won't even come into it or be important.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, I don't reckon there's much reason to go into it other than separating clans out. You know what I mean? 'Cause it was mainly a focus for like Gorka Morka, wasn't it? You know what I mean? To identify two separate orc clans fighting against each other.
Also,
But in game, I don't
But
know.
if you look at it, in every other faction, I think that mention gods, we've had the gods. Like we've got the Catan. We've obviously got the Chaos gods. Like, is there a room that people would want Mork and Monday to come into it?
I think that's a difficult one because it's always been like a throwaway thing, of like you're just saying about, apart from like Gorka Morka, the orc gods, even in the fantasy games and everything, it's always just a case of one's cunning and brutal, the other's brutal and cunning. That is all you get about them. Yeah, that's all you get. One likes to fight and is sneaky, the other's sneaky and likes to fight. And okay, that's it. That's all I got. I think if they go into like the weird boy psychic stuff of orcs, then maybe it might get a little bit more. But
you could be right, because they were in that trailer, weren't they? There was that like psychic spewer in the trailer, so maybe they could.
And I think as MCI can just say,
yeah, that's a fair shout. That kit's showing its age a little bit.
And that's something that I think is the only other time it's referenced is a Gorkanor and a Morkanor. That's it. You don't get any other sort of real unit.
Yeah, unless the new killer cans, because we're supposed to be getting new killer cans for Orcs in 11th.
So do you think we'll get a full refresh then?
I think we'll get a full refresh, because we're supposed to be getting grot tanks back. Now, take that with a pinch of salt, but grot tanks are rumoured.
Yeah.
Grot tanks are rumoured.
I would love that. That's ridiculous. There's just so many little things like that they can just bring back from older editions and just make it.
What the fuck? A grot? How small is a grot tank? Because grots are small.
It's less than killer can.
Yeah, it's like imagine.
It's like sticking you in a little Tykes car and putting a cannon on the side of it.
Exactly. I was trying to think of it. That is the best example. Is it?
Well, I was actually thinking of the mouse inside a mouse droid in the Death Star and Robot Chicken.
A bit bigger.
Yeah, a bit bigger.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, while we got you on, and you have dropped the bomb of Mordheim, the new AOS box where it's Cities of Sigmar and the Ratmen, how excited are you?
Mate, very. Super excited. The worst bit for me is I've got to buy 2 boxes. I've just started.
Talking about?
One box is going to stay completely cling filmed, go upstairs into my attic and live there until I die, and then my children, well, my nieces and nephews can earn a shite load off it. But I'm trying to get the original Mordheim box back, so I want both of them next to each other just to show what like 20 odd years of difference in gaming does. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because anybody who doesn't recognise that as Mordheim coded is nuts. You know what I mean?
It's even down to the units that you see in it for the Skaven. Loads of swings in the back, loads of assassins.
That was what got me into Skaven in '99. That seeing them human mercenaries versus Skaven, and just as a point of reference, right?
You still got it.
I'm literally just doing new bases on them now.
They are as a kit. That has not aged badly at all, has it?
To be fair, other than the dog heads, if you put all of the original, if you put some of the newer heads on it. They're not terrible, but the new ones are a lot skinnier. They're a lot wirier, and I kind of dig that. I really like the idea of that wiry skinniness.
Right, so I'm going to ask you both a question here, right? Because I don't know what Mordheim is. It seems just like a made-up word. What is it about Mordheim that's better than Age of Sigmar, Old World, and 40k, in your opinions?
Are you ready? This is my entire warband for Skaven, if you're thinking about getting into it.
A lot of rats.
There you go. There's like 8 models there.
So I think we've talked about this before, Mike, haven't we? I think for us, we're both a little bit Chernobyl pilled, I would say, would be the way kids would say it. That it's the concept of, here's this city, they blew it up, and then everyone's just having a massive fight over it.
Yeah, you can't get. It's really hard to get in. It's even harder to get out. And it's like, and when you're in there, you are just dick against the wall all the way through it. You feel like you are poor at every moment. You are on the back foot and scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that. I think there is a horror element to it which people forget, because they've ripped this straight out of Poltergeist, because there's a big evil tree that eats people.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? There's rats out of the shadows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you think about like Mordheim '99, Skaven weren't really a thing proper until then. They had models around, but never anything like fully cohesive. And then to show them off in Mordheim, like, look at these, it was revolutionary. It was just like mind blowing at these man-sized rats that could sneak around in the darkness, and you were just like, this is absolutely incredible. It just spoke to everything you wanted from that.
I think as well as a system, it came out at a really good time, because Necromunda had died off, Gorkamorka had died off, and then it's a case of, we need a skirmish game, but we don't want to use any 40k stuff. Let's just jump into the fantasy. And it's pretty much, you could take the lore of it and apply it to any setting, because it's just nice and simple. Well, it's like in the fantasy setting, it was sick.
Yeah, did you see that Grimdark Compendium thing they released for the 10th anniversary? They put everything on they did the whole Mordheim primer. I have just swallowed all of that, and I figured out what it is. It's Woofrup without having to learn Woofrup. You could tell a story of your little warband wandering through streets. It was as much a role-play game as it was a war game, and that's why everyone liked it, because it allowed you to really express stories throughout of it.
Yeah, that is a big deal as well, because even the fact that if you were playing a proper campaign, like you see sometimes in the whatever the role-play version of 40k is now.
Rapid Glory.
Yeah. If you get to the end of your game, you've had three models knocked out, someone's killed a champion, get to roll to promote the guy that killed the champion. The 3 that were knocked out of it, what happens? Roll, one of them's lost a leg.
One of them's now megalomaniacal.
Yeah, stuff like that. I think wasn't one of the Brotherhood of Possessed, like, oh, your mini turns into Chaos Spawn, you've lost everything to do with it, and now he just shambles along with you. Just the insanity of it. It was
absolutely mental, and it allowed so much of like storytelling in miniatures.
Yeah.
Was it the simplicity then that you enjoyed about it back in the day?
It's not simple. And again, it was, what was it, 5th going into 6th, or was it 4th going into 5th? In '99, I can't remember. It was basically the launch of the new rules, so it was stripped down, but it was still super deep. You were still referencing the books all the way through it to be like, I found this magical item. What does this do? You know what I mean? How do I maximize the points out of my units and stuff like that? Is it better to like fire the guy now that he's got -1 to his movement because he can only move 2 inches? Is it cheaper to fire him and get a new guy in and just suffer the consequences of like the 25 gold or whatever it was?
Yeah.
We've got another caller joining us. We've got our usual serial killer. You can stay on, Mike. We've got our resident serial killer as well, Graham.
Now we've got a party. Now it's the Chaos Show at long last. It only took about, an hour?
I know. I was busy this evening, and then when I saw it was a Chaos Show, and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to get back in time.
You can't miss out on that, can you?
Warpy, once one of these 2 guys leave, I'll get you on.
Well, you know what? I think too many people have heard me rambling shite for too long. I'll jump off and carry on watching other people ramble shite.
Just before you go, Mike, do you want to give yourself a shout out and give your shop a shout out? Shop a shout out as well, mate.
We're Monstrous Light Games in Tameside. It's the serial killer side of Manchester. We're a small war game store. We do like D&D, 40k, Age of Sigmar. We're typically playing Mordheim. We've got lots of games and we've got a team that really love it. Playing Magic on a Friday night. We're playing Warhammer on a Sunday night. And we'd love to have more people down. It'd be sick. It'd be sick.
Say Age of Sigmar again.
Age of Sigmar.
It's the extension on the Mar. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Ace Man, you just can't get it out here.
Sigma.
That's the one, isn't it?
It's the only thing I can say in the Mancunian accent. Yes.
Yeah, man. Always good having you on, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I'm glad you're all safe.
Cheers, mate.
Peace.
Good, mate.
How are you, Graham?
All right, mate. Has it been good or not?
Yeah, it's been good. It was even better since Casey joined us just after the usual time.
No, I was on time for once. You shut your poor mouth.
Sammy boy.
Mr. Internet is out creeping the streets of Florida, children. Beware, it's spring break.
It's not. Spring break was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but you're just getting rid of the bodies now. You would know.
I've got a small child. Come on.
In your basement, what?
No. How is
How are you, mate?
everybody?
How was the painting part?
Oh,
lessons
yeah,
going?
Mr. Adepticon.
Yeah, it was really good, actually. Really, really good. We had so much fun. I was lucky enough to be invited by Warlord Games to paint on their stand, and paint some zombies with some kids and some adults and everybody else. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned kids first. You should always lead with the adults, then the kids, mate.
Yeah, all right, well, whatever. But it was genuinely lovely. It was really, really good to see like the kids that were coming along never really even thought of like what Warlord Games as a company that they could get involved in. But Conflict 47 has come out and has got that little bit of sci-fi, but still got World War II tanks. And you could see the kids' imagination going. And then when we were literally just had like 120 zombies for people to come along, sit there for an hour, paint, and just like. And thankfully, we had people like Goblin's Hut that gave us some of their dirty down gore that we could like tangle and do bits between it. It was brilliant, and seeing everybody enjoy it, even the adults as well, was really, really good fun. So we did that. That went down really, really well, and Warlord had a really good time there, and made bank on what the bolt action and also Conflict 47. So they did really, really good. And then on the Saturday, I was painting dinosaurs.
I was going to say, you were painting dinosaurs, yeah.
Yeah, with AK Interactive on the there's a new game coming out called Carnivore from Buer Games, and it's basically dino battles, and you'd like fight. It's super sick, super sick. They made over 200 grand on their Kickstarter for it.
Wow.
And trust me, dinosaurs and people are like knights in shining armor with little boys. But the dinosaurs have like, everybody loves dinosaurs. So having a war game where little packs of dinosaurs fight other packs of dinosaurs. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
That's like the easiest thing you can design a game on without even overthinking it. Like, you don't. Yeah. What happens in Jurassic Park when all the humans fuck off? Bang. There you go.
What was that? Was it called Dino Riders? The cartoon from when there
was Dino Riders,
and they had like the bad guys like did it, like forced them into it, like the T-Rex had like the head and the arm with the missile launch on the back and all that sort of shit. Dino Riders, that was great. That. And I
don't know if anyone remembers this one, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, where it was like Mad Max, and everyone was driving around in these sick cars, and for some reason dinosaurs existed as well, and it was insane.
Wasn't that just South London?
No, fuck off.
Totally was. We never used to go down to South London. It's prehistoric down there.
Yeah, fuck off. You're not even London, bro. Shut up. Off the chip.
Casey, you like this? So I knew my granddad was from Watford, but I found out that until everyone on my mum's side was London-based for like 2-3 generations back.
What the fuck went wrong?
Well, they had
So
sense and they got out, didn't they?
why were they run
What
out?
happened, mate?
Why were they run out?
I mean, I couldn't possibly imagine.
Wait a minute. The London Ripper, is he a relation of yours? And he went to Yorkshire to do some ripping?
Well, I haven't done the full family tree yet, so possibly we'll find out.
If we're related, I'll kill myself. No, I won't really.
Honestly, I thought to myself when I was telling someone about it, I thought, how hilarious would that be if I look back and like 3 generations back, there's some Newell in there somewhere, or
if any of your relations come from Mayo, then you're definitely related to fucking Casey.
Yeah, sorry about that. Everyone in Mayo's related. It's a shit place. But no, it sounds like you had an amazing little trip to Adepticon. I was actually saying about earlier about conferences, some of the big events. Obviously, you get people turning up just to see people, but because Adepticon is that big, they run. Obviously, Games Workshop got a massive show there. They run tournaments there. It's not just a case of people coming along and patting their own backs, is it? You've obviously got an industry feel to it.
Dude, it's immense. There's so many British people that are now coming over for it from the UK because it's, I think, probably the biggest convention in the world for what we have, for like gaming and those sorts of things. Dude, I've never known. I saw a tournament starting at 10 p.m. at night and going through till 4 a.m. in the morning, right? And I was just like, but just because some people wanted it, I don't even know what the game was, but they were like, it's a 6-hour tournament, and we're going to start at 10 p.m. because that was the only time they could fit in after everybody was finishing their games at 40k, and there was thousands and thousands of people there, and I think they broke the record of over like 15,000 people.
Shit.
Through the door over the 3-4 days that were there, sort of thing. But it was immense. It was really, really good. And yeah, there's a lot of people that were socially awkward that would come down from their room for an hour, be like overloaded, and then go back and just do little bits like that as well. But yeah, there's a hobby spot down there for like 50 people to just hobby and paint and chill out downstairs, and then there was rooms where teaching rooms and those sorts of things, which was really, really good to see as well. And then you obviously had Golden Demon there, the cabinets, which were weird this year. The whole feel of it was a little bit odd, but yeah, it was really, really good, really, really good.
So I've got a question for you, Sam. You've been a roving reporter now since yesterday, and what would you say is the dominant gaming system in the States? Obviously, it'd be Warhammer here. Is it over there, or is it bolt action, or is it Conflict 47?
It's 40k. It's still 40k by a mile. It's the most popular that is around everywhere. There's a GT, even here locally in bumfuck nowhere, Florida. There is a GT every couple of weeks here at local stores, sort of thing. And my local store's like 40 minutes away. So, you know, it's spotted around, but yeah, 40k. Age of Sigmar's dropped off majorly to the point at which they were actually selling a lot of 40% off over here for Age of Sigmar, because the only type of Sigmar being played is Spearhead, I think it's called. I think it's called Spearhead. And that's where you just literally buy a box, paint it up, and game with it. That's the only type of Sigmar being played. Old World's popular. It's doing more and more. There's a lot of people moving from Age of Sigmar back to Warhammer Old World. Necromunda's big. Blood Bowl's massive. And Bolt Action and Flames of War, they've got their own little communities as well. But overall, 40k is still like number one.
I'm going to jump in with one, Sam, because I always think this is a good point, and I've probably asked you this before, and whatever American guests on that we've got on, especially our expats. Given that you've just said that your nearest store is 40 minutes away, do you sometimes think that us in the UK take stuff being 40 minutes away for granted? Because obviously 40 minutes away for you is a fair old distance. 40 minutes away over here to an hour away is like a different town. You know, I think sometimes we do look, we're a bit spoiled. Obviously, well, it comes from the UK, so we're going to be. But, you know, when you've got someone who's complaining.
London boy.
No, not even Mr. London Boy. Like, because you know what? Since I've moved up to Peterborough, there is a fuck ton of stuff in Peterborough. There's like 5 local gaming stores. I'm in a league. There's a GT, like Sam was saying, near enough every other month. It's ridiculous. But when you're trying to get someone to say, oh, do you want to commit to going over to Nottingham and playing a game? Oh, it's a bit far. Oh, I have to get the train. Oh, I don't know, because petrol's a bit pricey at the moment. Whereas then for you, if you want to go to your local store, you're looking at an hour and a 20-minute round trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so are we just
I
being
think
a bit spoiled brat?
I think culturally it's a little bit different over here, Casey, because you have to have a car over here. Like someone that, like, you don't find people that don't have their driver's license because you need a car to get anywhere over here because it's just so big. So we don't have the public transport. They don't want public transport. People are like, nah, man, I've got my car. I'm good. I don't want to socialise with anybody else. I'm good. In the cities, in the big cities, you've got a little bit of infrastructure in New York and DC and those sorts of places. But where I am, nah, man, you need a car to get there, and 40 minutes is fine. You know, there's some people that will travel. Like my local Games Workshop, my nearest Games Workshop is 3 hours away from me. Right, that's my local Games Workshop. That's Mobile, Alabama.
Jesus fucking Christ!
So you're on the Panhandle then?
Yeah. I'm in the Panhandle. So there's I think that there might be one in Tallahassee, but that's about 4 hours drive from me.
It's like the arse end of Florida, isn't it?
Yeah, there's Tampa, there's Orlando, and they're like 8-9 hours away like driving. So people just don't realise like the size of this place until you get over here. But I did notice a lot of Brits were flying, like, to do a little bit of sightseeing for Adepticon before Adepticon. There was more direct flights going to Chicago from Heathrow and Manchester and those sorts of places. So they would fly into Chicago, and then it's like an hour's like drive or a half an hour on the train from Chicago up to Milwaukee. So they were doing a little bit of sightseeing for a few days before Adepticon, and you know the jet lag was awful as well for a lot of them. So
my nearest hobby shop's half an hour.
Yeah,
and I
have to go.
There's no clubs around here.
Yeah. I have to go into a different country from my nearest Games Workshop. I have to go to Northern Ireland. That's like 40 minutes away.
So our nearest Games Workshop's about 40 minutes, and it's tiny. It's small. It's like a third of the size of my living room. You walk in there, and you're basically hugging the guy that was running it just to look at everything.
He's on you as soon as that door opens.
Yeah. The nearest hobby shop is a bit closer, but that's a toy store with a hobby section. And there's not an awful lot in there, but it's okay. But anything other than that, you're talking like an hour and a half to get to anywhere decent. Where I live, you can't walk anywhere. You have to be able to drive. When I first moved up here, I didn't have a driving license. I'd had some lessons, but you didn't need one down in Keighley. You know, you could get a bus or whatever, walk anywhere. It was easy. Yeah. But around here, if you want to get anywhere, there's nothing close by, especially where I live.
It's funny you touch on that.
Especially if you want to start burying bodies, you can't just walk about with a body. You need a van.
I know he's
on see you've got a van.
The way things are going, mate, I don't think it's going to be that long before you can walk around with a body and no one bats an eyelid.
I think though it's like I do agree with what you guys are saying about driving licenses though, because like I've driven for donkeys. When we moved to Peterborough, there was a bit of a wake up call for my wife because she was like, "Oh fuck, I'm going to have to learn how to drive now." Because it wasn't just a case of I can get the bus. We've got a bus stop outside the front door, but you miss that bastard. It's another one in an hour's time.
Yeah,
you want to go to the other side of town, you got to catch another bus. That's another hassle on top of it.
They cancelled all the bus services around here. There used to be like 2 buses a day, like on the main road, but they cancelled them because they're like going, "Oh, it's not worth running it." So like old people that were getting the bus, they just couldn't do it anymore. Like as to run a free bus service that goes to the local towns and stuff to pick them up and take them shopping.
Yeah. So why are you in your car?
You are.
Why are you in your car?
I'm picking my boy up from school in 10 minutes. He finishes school in 10 minutes.
So translated, he's cruising the school.
I'm in the car line. I'll tell you what, it's interesting. Everybody else, I'm in my truck, and everybody else has got like they don't have small cars over it at all. Yeah. No, it's wild that way. But I will say another thing. If anybody does ever come over to Adepticon, wear some good trainers and some shoes and some walking shoes. In 3 days, I did over 40,000 steps in 3 days walking around Adepticon. and you literally walk a few miles.
Hughes moved. He's had to drive forward a little bit. But
Yeah,
I tell you what, maybe that's not a bad shout for people who do go to Adepticon to get some exercise.
Yeah, it's
And did comment, you're all fat. Fuck off.
especially when you're horsing the Denny's and the Waffle House on you, you'll need to.
I'd like to go to something like that, but I think I might be one of those people that like do an hour and a half and then just go like, nope.
Yeah.
I need a cut off. I need a break. I'm going to
glide. Well, this is the thing. This is what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm not doing Salute this year, but when I've done it with Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studio, you get pissed first because it makes walking around and seeing a lot of the people that you're seeing more memorable.
Well, like when I went down to Mind event down at Warhammer World, in my head on the way down there, I'm thinking like, oh, I'll go meet everyone that I've spoken to online. I'll chat with everyone. It'd be great. I got there. Didn't help that I was hungover. That really didn't help. But when I actually got in there, I was just like going like, and like the I don't know what it was, but just like going up and speaking to people, it just didn't happen. Like I did a few people, but I didn't like put myself out there and go around meeting everyone and talking to them like I should have done. It just didn't happen. But I just got all like
no, I get that. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because we do talk like as much as Dunk likes to put the bingo card, say me and him have never met in a face-to-face environment. Like if we actually saw each other in real life, we'd be like, yeah, it'd be like, okay, now
what the fuck do I say to this guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, Casey, your breath stinks. Fuck off.
Like I met when I used to do online gaming a lot, and there was a couple of from up in Scotland, a lad called Chris McGregor, Scottish name, and we met up and we met in a pub, and the first half an hour was so weird, and so awkward. Then when we'd had 3 pints, it was fine after that. We had 3 pints, played a couple of games of pool, and then that was it. Then we were just chatting like a wood in game, and it was absolutely grand because you relaxed into it. But that first half hour was the weirdest half hour. Just sat there and like,
Because I used to play World of Warcraft years and years ago, and this Norwegian woman come over, and she was part of our guild clan group. And me and my mate went to meet her, and again, it's like you say, that first hour you're sitting there like, so hello, how are you? And it's just like the weirdest small talk, and it's unnecessarily awkward considering you do spend so much time in game speaking to each other, and in game you're no problem like, how's the kid? How's this? How's that?
Yeah.
And then when you're seeing each other face to face, you're like,
it's a
and then you have
totally different environment.
I used to play
next time as jokes.
I used to play Counter-Strike online like back in the day, like early 2000s, and the clan that I was part of, we all met each other in Blackpool, and we had like 2 people come over. We had 2 guys come up from London. Where I got a lift with a Scottish guy who I ended up sharing a room with for the two nights that we were there. We had 2 guys come over from Belgium, 1 guy come over from France. We had a shit ton up. I think we had 10 people turn up. We went paintballing, and then we went and took poppers and went to a nightclub in Blackpool. What a weekend! It was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I won't ask you why the poppers are necessary, but okay.
I think they were just going about. That's what we did. I think one of the Belgians brought it over actually.
Did you play Day of Defeat?
No.
Oh, I love Day of Defeat.
It's good, right?
So good. I was always a sniper in that game. Loved it. It's a great game.
It was great. Considering it was just Counter-Strike reskinned, it was quality.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I'd love one day if we did like a little meet-up, Inquisition Fest. We just go somewhere, get pissed. But at the same time, it would just be that first hour of who's rocking up like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
No, what we'll do is we'll have a mental health plinth, and we'll talk about our mental health and all that. I mean, we'll do proper influencer stuff.
No, I think we should do diabetes awareness. Not enough people are aware of diabetes.
Well, I can bring my wife.
Yeah, is it? Bring Perry Mary Jerry. Get her to do a lecture about how your toes could fall off, and we'll be fine.
Or don't. Or how she has to get injections on her eyes, her actual eyes. They have to inject in her eye.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. No,
like that's one of the things that people don't know about diabetes. It's called retinopathy or something.
Yeah.
But the thing at the back of her eyes, it starts to leak fluid, so they have to inject in her eye to stop the fluid leaking out her eye.
Is Graham in shock or is he frozen? I don't know what's going on.
That is actual legit. Perry Jerry has to get her eyes screened every 6 months,
Blink.
and because diabetes is a debilitating illness, affects her eyesight.
That is horrendous.
Just staring at the horror on his face. It's like, do something, move. Tell us you're still alive.
Then I just started holding it on purpose then. I was like, don't move. And my missus is downstairs, so I knew she weren't going to walk past.
No, it though. It's like some of the madness of it. Like, my mate had diabetes, he had cystic fibrosis, he had all sorts of stuff. He had to take what was something called a crayon. We used to joke, take the piss out of him. He's like, "Are you taking your crayons, Dave?" But it was essentially bear insulin to help him digest his food. Like, he just fucking milk a bear of its like fucking glands, and you'd have to take the bear insulin to eat your shit. It was madness.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just silly stuff.
Graham, I've got a question for you, right?
Speaking
Now,
of
11th edition is coming out in June. Dead or alive, what Primarch would you like to see come back?
hey!
Well, obviously, I'd like to see Sanguinius, but it won't happen. And if it does happen, the backlash it will cause will just be ridiculous.
Oh, ridiculous.
And
So
I mean,
but
to be honest, I'd half understand it because, you know, he did die I haven't even read it, but I know he died a pretty gruesome death. And if he came back, then it would just open the door for anybody to come back. But, yeah, other than Sanguinius, I don't know, really. Because
bring back the Emperor. Let's go all out.
No, to be honest, I think getting the Emperor to come back in some capacity would be a fairly good move eventually. But again, it's how you're going to do it. I'd like to see Magnus again because I like Magnus. I think he had a rough ride of it, really. Properly come back into the story, and I'd like to see him brought back into the good side as a loyalist. You know, he comes back to help secure, keep the warp at bay while the Emperor regenerates, comes back into another body or something like that. You know, he comes back into the fold as a brother rather than an enemy.
What was the Emperor's little mate called?
Yeah, because really, Magnus was really tricked into joining Chaos. The other ones kind of did it happily, but Magnus was kind of conned.
Magnus did nothing wrong. I will die on that hill.
He signed his own fate by not trusting that the Emperor knew what was going on, and by doing so, was tricked into creating an opening for Chaos to do the damage that they were going to do, and by accident from that, he ended up.
But this is what happens when you go and tell tales. You reap the consequences. That's what happens when you're a tattletale.
Icarus, isn't it? Flies too close to the sun, wings melt.
So maybe I don't know, but I'd love. To be honest, I'm not even that asked to bring him back as a character. I mean, I'd like to see it, but just a really good new model. That'd be nice.
Actually,
good.
A really good new model. What did you think of the new Iron Warriors character?
The Iron Warriors will. I thought I've liked most of the new stuff, apart from when they've dressed up a basic jump intercessor and painted it as Blood Angel colours and gone, "Oh, look at the new model."
Yeah.
Piss off, right? I've painted a jump captain, done him as Death Company, and it looks 10 times better than that crap was released. I just added a few Blood Angel bits onto it, and everyone's arguing, saying, "Oh yeah, but it's not thing specific. It's not meant to be just Blood Angel. It can be any." Okay, fine. But if you're going to do that, but you're bringing out a box set that's based on the Blood Angels for the story that you're making it, right? You should sell the kits to make them all Blood Angel, but not charge it the same price as the full kit for the miniatures. Charge it as a couple of quid. Like I've got one here somewhere. I bought it. I didn't know what was in the kit when I ordered it. It's the
is it the upgrade kit?
Primaris upgrades, right?
Yeah.
The cost of that for what's in it, it's a crime.
It's just a lot of shoulder pads, isn't it? And that's it.
Yeah. Shoulder pads and faces and stuff like that. And it's like, just get real. So when they're bringing out the 11th edition box, what they should do is, if you want a thing in specific parts like shoulder pads and add-ons and stuff like that, they should sell a sprue with it on, and it should be like 10 quid for this sprue. so you can change it to your chapter specific
Mhm.
thing.
Do
Instead
a
of charging
little
you,
deal or something.
yeah, instead of having to spend 120 quid on a load of packs to try and make them into your desired Marines. But they
Yeah.
won't do that because they make more money by.
That has always annoyed me a bit when you look at. I think the worst one they did it to was the Stern Guard squad. The basic minis in the box for 10th were just blank shoulder pads, and then when they released the 5 that you could make up yourself, they all had veteran shoulder pads, and they were molded shoulder pads. So if you were running a whole squad of 10, you've got 5 that are boring bitches and haven't got any nice icons, and then you've got 5 that look amazing.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, ADHD minutes. That is absolutely right. You shouldn't be spending 40 quid just to change a squad.
Yeah.
In your desired thing, it's absolutely outrageous.
And
and the thing is, as well, decals are all well and good, but nothing looks better than that 3D edition. Like the Death Company with the box. I've loved painting them. They're really good miniatures. But for me, they should have had the embossed X cross. The red cross should have been 3D. It should have been profile. It should have looked cool. You should have looked at it and you should have gone, and it should have looked like on a knee pad and on the shoulder. It should have been there as a paintable part, not just something you have to do yourself. Because otherwise, they're just standard Marines.
If they're doing it for Ultramarines, where you have to end up shaving off like that stupid youth for everything, then
all you got with these was the shoulder pad with the sigil on it, and some little addition bits that you stuck on places, and the odd helmet had the blood drop on the forehead. That's it. That was it. That was all that made it Blood Angel on the entire models. And
just a little bit of flavour, just a little bit. Because if you don't want that flavour on there, it's easier to just cut it off than to try and spend loads of money to glue it on.
Yeah, and nobody was buying that Death Company box to not paint them as Death Company.
Yeah,
that's what you're buying it for.
Exactly.
But I'm just a moody old fucker.
But I just want to say to people as well, because we've not said it at all yet today, we are sponsored by Orange Brushes. If you do want to get quality Constay Sable hair at cheap prices, and we all picked our different colour brush as well to pick, which was nice.
And I can say categorically the dry brushes are much better than Rosemary colour. Just saying.
Oh, the dry brushes are brilliant. But if you use Inquisition at checkout, you get 10% off. And if you live in the UK, because you're using the code Inquisition, free shipping as well.
Can't say it better than that.
I mean, and they have it in different sets, so definitely get on the Orange Brushes, boys. But aye, they're good brushes.
Here's one, because I know you've dabbled in Conflict 47 and painted some bits up.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm obviously starting to dabble in the world of the Halo minis. Graham, buddy, as obviously someone that is quite exclusive for Warhammer stuff, what out there would take your eye and think, oh, I might give that a go?
To be honest with you, I would be open to painting almost anything. The only reason that I'm almost exclusively Warhammer 40k is because that's what I started buying, and I'm very, how can I say, like, I want to get an army done. I want to get Blood Angels army done, but then I keep getting distracted by other bits. Like when the Tyranids came, when I got the Tyranid box, I want to paint some Tyranids. When there's dioramas to be done, I'll do a diorama. When like Halloween, I like to do the orcs or whatever, and I get distracted by stuff like that, competitions and heroes and so on and so forth. So I get distracted by doing things like that. But ultimately, I want to get an army done, and I've got loads of Warhammer Grey now. And for me to start looking at another set of system, like, oh my god. We were getting the landlords were getting the consumer unit changed this week, so my missus wanted us to clean the house and get it all sorted out and start boxing some stuff up so it looks a bit tidier, which is fair enough. And so obviously I get the Combat Patrol magazine, all of it. So I was opening all them up, all 80 copies, and putting them into the folders and getting all the sprues out. And my missus like going, "Oh my god, Like sometimes piling up these taping. Like I taped the orcs together, I taped the Eldar together, taped, and I'm taping them all up, all the curtain, and she's like going, "How are you ever going to get through all that?" I'm like, "Well, I'm probably not." But what I'll end up doing is it'll stay there, or I'll end up selling it, or I'll just build it and paint it eventually. But it's difficult to explain to somebody that even though you've got all that, when something new comes out, it doesn't mean you don't want to buy the thing that's new, because you like the thing that's new.
Yep.
And yes, you've got all that other great stuff that you need to paint and you want to paint, but that's new and it looks nice.
Yeah. I picked up the new. I bought whatever the Spearhead magazine is. I picked up that one today because it's the limited edition model one, and I looked at it. I was like, I don't play this. I might do one day, but that's a cool looking mini.
But like someone said about the Age of Sigmar stuff, like the Age of Sigmar models are stunning. Some of them are absolutely beautiful models, and I would be tempted to buy them. But if I bought them, I'd have to buy it when I'd finished a set amount of stuff that I wanted to finish, and I was going to dedicate myself to painting that, because I was painting it purely for the aesthetic of I wanted to paint that model. And then, because it's not going to be part of the game, because I'm not going to play it, etc., etc. So I would have to be dedicated to doing that model. It's like when I do my dioramas, I'm literally doing them because I want to do the diorama. I'm not doing it for, a game system or anything like that. I'm just painting because I want to paint it.
And I tell you what, here's one. Because obviously we're on the verge of 11th edition, you're saying you want to get an army, you're saying you want to get some games in. Will you finally be doing it in 11th?
I'd like to say yes. But
yeah.
The problem is, mate, I'd like to learn to play, but I don't know if there's something wrong with me or what, but I have to feel I'm competent enough to do it. If I got to play a game again, no, I know, but no, you say that, but I can't not worry about it. It's just how my brain works. If I went to a game and I started playing that game, within 5 minutes, if I think to myself, I don't know what I'm doing here, my enjoyment's gone, my desire's gone, and I'm just going to feel like packing all my stuff up and leaving. Not because I'm being petulant, but because I don't feel I can fairly play the game and give them a game. I'm going to feel like I'm going to ruin their experience of the game as well as my own.
I get that, Tim, because I was exactly the same before I started playing. But see, fortunately for Dunny Roll Dice Winners, Shane Root is usually the guy that introduces everybody to playing, and the way and it's maybe try and find somebody to do it like this, is just to strip it back and don't worry about secondaries, don't worry about strats or anything or modifiers, and just get the basics like movement and just and it took me a good few months just to get a grip of that, and then you start introducing the likes of stats, and I still forget to spend CP in my games. And I think if you go down that route, it's a lot easier. Like as I was saying to Casey before you jumped on, like I fully think I can understand everything to do with 10th edition, and now they're changing it.
Yeah, but I think first that's deliberate. They definitely do that on purpose. But so yeah, I get what you're saying. I think what I would benefit greatly from was becoming friends with someone who has that mindset for playing the game, who would be understanding and willing to spend time to peel it back, go basic. But there is a group about a 45-minute drive away. They'll do like a Thursday night or something, and I went down and they play loads of different game types, and they all look very serious.
You know what? I'll say this. I'll jump in on that. I get that because, I was feeling my way into the game groups that I'm up here with, and fair enough. The group I play Crisis Protocol with, they were more than welcoming. They were like, "Look, we meet up every now and again. Just come join us. We'll have a laugh. We'll show you how to play this game." And Martin and his mates have been really cool about that. With the 40k stuff, I go into every game I play. I joined a league because I was like, fuck it, if I don't do something, I'm never going to do it. And I go into every game and I just say, look, I'm still learning. If I make mistakes, I'm sorry. Please be a bit patient with us. Everyone's been cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had one guy who's been a dick about it. Like the first guy, I went in there, I played an intro game with someone who was able to, for an hour, just sat me down, was like, right, do this, try this, think about that. And to be fair, we played a small game that had everything in it. So all the silly little bits and bobs where Dunk was saying he got into it by stripping it back to its bare bones. The guy that introduced me to it was basically like, some people will do this. We prefer you learning everything as soon as. So play the smaller games and build up. And that's what I did. And I still fuck up. The other day, I'll tell you what the worst thing was. This last league game I was in, I forgot to put the proper loadout on like my tank that I've got. So I rocked up into a game of playing against heavily armored Chaos Space Marines with things that had like no armor penetration value and shit. And I was just sitting there like, oh, you absolute twat. And I looked at the guy and I was like, look, I've done this. Just to let you know, it's modelled like that, but I fucked up and didn't do it right on my army list. And he was like, cool, don't worry about it, mate. These mistakes happen. What do you want to do? And I just said to him, I've fucked up the list. I'll play the list. He's like, are you sure? Yes. He was willing to let me change it, but he was just like, nah, you know what? If you're happy with owning your mistake, go for it.
Did you get annihilated?
No, actually, it's a really close game. I did lose. I've lost every fucking game I've played. But it was the closest I've got. And I think the way they scored a victory point. Yeah.
I don't mind losing as long as I haven't lost purely on the fact that I just don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
I think there's always going to be an element.
That's the thing as well, Graham. Is like people will want to help you because they want you to like play, and they want you to get better to give them a better game. Like I think last year I lost every game until the last game of the tournament I played in September last year. I lost every single game apart from the last game of the tournament, and then I've been on a kind of winning run until recently. I lost the second game in the tournament I was in. But it's all about just learning and enjoying it. And I understand what you're talking about with your head, because I'm like that as well. But the undiagnosed tisms don't help, but they also help you they also help you when you're playing the game as well.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've been playing a game and it's gone horrific. I know the guy that I was playing against was doing a bit of Buster Keaton, and I just wanted to pack the game up. I wasn't enjoying it, but I just had to continue playing. But I learned a lot from that because it made me then look at other people's lists and figure out their army and look going, can he just hit me onto is that for the whole army, is it just for a specific unit? So
because I watched Ryan when I went down to Warhammer, I watched Ryan play, and Ryan when we got there, it ended up being somebody had messed up somewhere, and instead of it being a 2,000 point army, it was supposed to be 2 people with 2,000 points against 2 people with 2,000 points. But Ryan wasn't partnered with anybody. So Ryan ended up putting 4,000 points troops out against 2 guys with 2,000 troops, different types of army. So Ryan was having to combat against 2 different types of army at 2,000 points against his 4,000 Dark Angels. And he's like, and he's rolling and then going like, oh, we can do this, we can do that. And I'm stood there and thinking like, and I'm just stood there looking at all these, oh, well, you got to factor this and you got to factor that. And I was like, and I was hungover and I was stressed because it was a room full of people that I'd never met before, and it was all too much. And I just went, oh, like my brain just started to melt. Like I think my brain's coming out of my ears. I'm gonna go outside for half an hour.
Yeah, so that lovely Nottingham fresh air.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, there's a lot going on here.
I tell you what, the one thing that you'd never get used to is the brain fog of it. I will say, like, I've played how many games recently, like in games that go really well, when you're really making yourself try and do as good as you can.
Yeah.
I came out last week with such a headache. I was like, part of me was relieved. I was like, that's been a good game. But because of all the information, it was just like, But once things become second nature, I think that is the case.
When I started playing, like my 3rd, 4th, and 5th game was a tournament. It was a 3-game tournament, and that was like my 3rd, and I was emotionally drained. After the 3rd game, I just wanted to go home. I've been there since 9 o'clock. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening, and I was just emotionally and actually physically exhausted just with the sheer having to use that one brain cell, trying to remember how to use a tape measure and then roll dice and asking Shane, what does sustained hit one mean again? And him explain it to me every time I've played. But here, guys, I'm going to have to jump off here because my battery's about to die because I've got a shitey iPhone that's about to fucking...
if I get asked to do this update one more time, my phone's going against the wall.
I tell you what, just before you both go, what Easter eggs did you have?
Oh, it was an Aldi one, and it was a half egg filled with millionaire shortbread, like billionaire shortbread thing, and it was good.
Well, I had a big, massive XL dime bar egg, but I also got a Terry's chocolate orange Easter egg. But I was talked into giving it to fucking Golden Child by my wife. And he did, because we came back to Asda, because Asda was selling the Easter eggs top cheap. And we'd already got him a Yorkie Easter egg, right? And he was not impressed when he seen the Terry's chocolate orange one come out, right? So Geraldine was like, go and just give him the chocolate orange one. And I was like, right, okay. So I was like, do you want to swap the Yorkie? And then Ross hadn't even finished my mouth, went, I'll swap. And then for some unknown reason, me being stupid went, if you take the Yorkie egg, I'll just take the Yorkie bar. So I went from having a fucking Terry's chocolate orange to a fucking tiny Yorkie bar. Raging.
It doesn't even spell Yorkie anymore.
Who were you raging at?
Myself.
Your egg.
I know, I was raging at myself and the wife. And with a dime bar, because it came with 2 bars, it came with 2 dime bars. Geraldine took one of the dime bars as well.
Oh, man.
So not only did I lose out in a full Easter egg, I also lost out in fucking part of my other Easter egg. Raging.
You've had an absolute mare. This is my spit. I'm not going to lie, I've demolished them. And because now they're all cheap when you combine them, this was like £1 something.
That's today.
Can we do one boggle a week, please? Just one. One boggle.
One what?
Can we do one boggle a week or something?
I'll bring back boggle. I haven't done it for a while. Yeah, I found it the other day. I'll bring it back for you, Graham.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. No. Anyway, I had to come on because we're at Miss nephew's birthday, and we had to drop her dad off and do some stuff for him and stuff. And the whole time I'm like, come on, I need to get back. Come on.
The boys are waiting for me.
And then we got back, and Horse needed feeding and all that sort of thing. And my battery was dying, so I plugged my phone. And I'm like, doing Horse feed, chucking it down, like putting his rug on, going off. So, yeah.
I actually didn't know what he was saying there until Green Man put in Boggle. Now I understand what you're saying. I was doing the whole thing there when your wife tells you something, and after the 3rd time, you still don't understand what she's saying. You're, you don't understand what she's saying.
No. But then 20 minutes later, she goes, what are you going to then? And you're like, going to what?
You weren't listening, were you? Like, no, I was listening.
Just remind me, I forgot. Okay, all right, gents.
Right, guys, thanks for another Chaos Show. Thanks to everybody who's jumped in, Green Man, Graham, and Mr. Internet, our roving American reporter. Next week we have Table Tyrant Thompson, who actually thought his name was Tablet Ryan Thompson, but I seen an extra T. So I actually don't know. Yeah.
Tablet Ryan.
Tablet Ryan Thompson.
Tablet Ryan.
There'd be a lot of questions as to why. I mean,
addictive
prescription pills. What would be the?
Yeah. Why did your mum name you Tablet? Do you know what I mean? Like, why?
Tune in next week when we get answers to these questions.
really liked Kendall mint cake.
See, when I was in the army, that was one of the best things in the ration packs was the Kendall mint cake. I love Kendall.
It was just sugar with some mint.
Basically. Sugar and mint.
Right, guys. Thanks very much for a great show this week, and we'll see you all next week with Table Ryan Thompson, Tablet Ryan Thompson, whatever his name is. We'll see you next week, folks. Cheery, bye.
Orange brushes.
Orange brushes for life.